Many people in Jamaica are afraid to stand up. But when I look at those who made a positive change in the world, whether it be Nelson Mandela, whether it be Jesus Christ, whether it be Marcus Mosiah Garvey, whether it is Martin Luther King Jr. or Malcolm X or Paul Bogle, whoever it was that made a positive change in this world, they stood up and did something about it.
What is it that drives Craig Butler?
Family, country, love. I am not happy with accepting where we are as a country, especially in the sport of football, because we can be so much better. We should be world beaters. Just like how we are in track and field, we should be world beaters in football. We've consistently developed good players, but at the national level we have not succeeded in transitioning that into top performances and qualifying for the World Cup. And people don't realize how much of an impact consistent qualification would have on our national team and on our country's economy. Because if you had 50 players making what Leon Bailey is making, playing at the level that he's playing, there'll be more commercial opportunities, there'll be more people getting help, and more kids being motivated that they can achieve anything they set their mind on. People don't like when people want them to change when they're comfortable in what they're doing. The JFF is comfortable.
But there's no room for diplomacy?
There's always room for diplomacy, and I've tried diplomacy many, many times. The challenge is that it's hard because of the way that our whole football system was created and how it is administrated. It's community-based at the beginning. So you would have, say for instance, Harborview, and that's from a community. And from that community, the president of that club, they vote, all the clubs vote for the parish associations. And so the president of a football club will become the president of a parish association. And then the JFF votes on those parish associations for the president. So the person who becomes the president, vice president, third vice president of the JFF are all attached to a football club. And under FIFA rules, that really is a conflict of interest. And what it causes is very simple. The rest of the world seeks to protect their homegrown talent, meaning the players that are born and raised in England, they try to protect them, their jobs. So what they do is they say, in order to get a work permit in England, for example, you must have 75% of your country's last 15 games as a starter. Now the way of football runs in Jamaica, there's no real way to make money off football other than to sell a player overseas, to transfer a player and get a transfer fee for your club. So if the president or the hierarchy of the JFF all belong to a football club and they need their players need to get the caps in order to qualify for a work permit for a transfer, they will put their players from their clubs into the national team, even if they're not the best players.
Many would say you at one point wanted to aspire, or you aspired to be the president of the JFF. Is it that the same situation?
No. Lions don't belong in sheep's, in a pride of sheep. I don't follow that well. I don't toe the line that well. I am one who seeks out and believes in rising to the top. And the reason I wanted to become the president of the JFF, believe it or not, is to change the constitution, to go in there and change that constitution so that a president from the JFF could come from anyone outside. If you follow my history, you'd recognize that I've taken Cavaliers players to Europe, knowing full well I won't make a dollar out of it. I have consistently said that it's a conflict of interest, and that if I went into the post, it would only be for a period of a year maximum, because I wanted to make the change. Many people in Jamaica are afraid to speak. Many people in Jamaica are afraid to stand up. But when I look at those who made a positive change in the world, whether it be Nelson Mandela, whether it be Jesus Christ, whether it be Marcus Mosiah Garvey, whether it is Martin Luther King Jr., or Malcolm X, or Paul Bogle, whoever it was that made a positive change in this world, they stood up and did something about it. I have studied the history of all those men that made positive change. And you know the one consistent factor with all of them? No one liked them. No one who was in charge of the way things are ever liked those who wanted things to become the way they should be.
Is Mona Phoenix now?
Mona is Mona. Phoenix players are at Mona, and any player that goes to Mona usually gravitates towards Phoenix. So we have players, Mona players play for Phoenix, but we also have players at Kingston College, Jean Bisco Richards, that's Phoenix. We have Dylan John, that's at Jamaica College, that's Phoenix. We have Jamani Bell and Rod Melford at Woolmers, that are Phoenix. We have Zabier Taylor, the Ras from Georges, that is a Phoenix. So Phoenix is spread across all the youth in Jamaica. You have kids in the country that are Phoenix. You have kids that are in Austria that are Phoenix. We have 50 players in Austria that are Phoenix. Players in Belgium, players in Trinidad, players in Colombia, players in Panama. The Surinamese all-time leading goal scorer, Leofilo Vleita, yeah? And the CONCACAF Golden Boot winner from Suriname, Leofilo Vleita, is a Phoenix. He spent 6 years in this house. Not this particular house, but in my house. Growing, training, and returned. He now plays in Israel. Our biggest success in football is really seeing our kids matriculate into better way of lives. You know, a little youth who was a ghetto youth, a youth who never have a father, never have any possible future looking at, is now standing up, you know, with his family, with a wife, with a child. He's working, he's making his way, you know. Leon Bailey is one such youth, but there are, I think it's going into the thousands now, because we've been doing this from 1980.
What are some of your regrets and some things that you would have done differently?
I think that I would have been a little more political in how I handled my objections to the gym, if I could change anything, you know. I tried to be more strategic in terms of building the relationship and then trying to let them see the error of their ways than letting them see the error of their ways and knowing even at the end of the day the relationship is nowhere, it will never get anywhere. Because you know, I look at the JFF and I look at what many of the people in the JFF, they're really trying to accomplish good for the country and good for themselves. But they just don't realize that the way they're doing it is the wrong way. My players all love and respect me. There are no allegations that are true that would have anything to do with ill treatment of players. My players have lived at my sacrifice at the highest comfort levels, period, especially in Europe.